I originally reviewed the first release of this book way back in September 2015. I was excited for the project at the time, but there were a few minor printing issues with the book as well as a few other issues. Derek Slaton, the author of the book, has recently re-released this book, Volume 1, along with a complete set of books all the way to Volume 6, each with a $45 hardcover price and a $9.99 ebook price. He said he decided to redesign the book series from the ground up in order to make it look more like his Sega Master System's encyclopedia. Derek is offering the PDF of the first book, Volume 1, as a free download. Since I already reviewed Book 1, this video mostly covers the differences between the two formats. So this is the Atari 2600 Encyclopedia Volume 1, 3D Tic-Tac-Toe to Communist Mutants from Space by Derek Slaton. This is how the book looks, and this is the second attempt at getting this book out. He actually originally released the book, I want to say it's been a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I don't know, it's been a while. When this is the original book that he put out, and I'll let you guys be the judge of which cover you like. There are nearly identical in width and height. There's more games covered in this book, a smaller font, so this goes all the way to Double Dragon, whereas this only goes up to Communist Mutants from Space. So there are some differences, and if you look at the books, the original book has like a logo on it, like that's formulated like the joystick looking straight down, which I kind of like, and it had the Atari emblem. It might be hard to see, but embedded in the print, and it has the logo on the side and the same emblem. Now this book had a number of printing issues, but that people were disappointed about. There was some banding, and it was like this right here. So there were a few printing issues with it, and Derek is selling the books, the physical prints, for basically the same price as when this book came out. I believe it was $45 as well. So there are a few differences in terms of the way he laid out the books. When you open a new book, he has the special thanks to the credits to various people that helped him with the projects, which I think is cool. And he has the 2019 copyright on this one. And then it goes right into the volume game list. And then, although the original book had some printing issues, this book has a few like lines and stuff. I used an eraser to try to get rid of these black lines that are in the middle. I don't know if that's probably just a fluke on my copy, but I noticed that on the game index here at the beginning. And then it goes right into the games. And what I find was interesting was that this book starts with 3D Tic-Tac-Toe, and I don't know if it was just an oversight or not, but the first book didn't even have 3D Tic-Tac-Toe. But let's take a look at it. So you open the book, and I like this. It has the acknowledgments, and it has like a little sentence for each of the acknowledgments, which gives you a little more information. And here it says first published 2015, so I didn't realize it's been that long. And then I like this, he has a full-on introduction on the first book, which adds character, I think. I like having the introduction sequence. And then if you look at the game index, the first game in here, it starts with Activision Decathlon on page 1. And then if you look at the whole list, there is no 3D Tic-Tac-Toe. So I think he just kind of blew it on that one. I think on this book, or either he had it slated to be on a different section, like starting with Tic-Tac-Toe or something. And then, okay, so let's kind of look at that since we have something to compare real quick. Let's look at Activision Decathlon. And let's start with the new book. So we can't compare 3D Tic-Tac-Toe. So now Activision Decathlon. You'll notice here he has a new format where he has the release date, the publisher, controller, so here it could be paddles or joystick, players 1 through 4, genre, the alternate title, model numbers, the rarity, which is a nice feature, and the programmer, David Crane. You'll also notice in this book, in this new version, there are no page numbers. I think he must have decided to just sort everything alphabetically, and if you had to find a title, you just go alphabetically until you find it. Whereas in the original book, you have page numbers on each page. When you turn the page, you have a little more information on the game. You have the additional materials, the badges that you could collect, and then it goes on to the next game. So, and then if you compare that to the old book, and then here's the index here, and you have an Atari in the background, and it's printed overlaid with the page numbers on all the games here. And then you start off here with Activision Decathlon, and then you'll see that you have the page number on the bottom left. You have a little bit of additional information here, which was covered at the top on the other book. So he would put the release date on the bottom of the pages, and some little tidbits here on the bottom of the pages, and then the page number again. Every game had a background image on it, which I like from the game. You have your screenshots. It's a little more clearly defined on the old book where that these are screenshots. I mean, it should be obvious. And then the additional materials sort of stand out a little better. The imagery looks a little more, pops a little bit more on the old book. And then it goes on to the next game, Adventure. So now looking at and comparing the two, if you didn't have the first book to compare it against, it wouldn't jump out at you. But both books are $45. You're getting fewer games reviewed on the new version of the book. And if that bothers you, you can always buy the ebook versions of these. I think they're being available for $9.99. And if, you know, strictly my opinion, I prefer the original book format to this. But and also the font that he uses on this version, it's like this big clunky font in my opinion. You know, but it might be easier to read for people with a little bit of a larger font to read. And it has this automatic spacing in here. And I'm thinking that's maybe why he increased the font size. Whereas on the original book, it was a smaller font. I found this more pleasing to the eye, so it was easier to read in this format. But anyhow, that is my review of the Atari 2600 Encyclopedia Volume 1, Take 2. It's a decent book. It's a rehash. He said he had to redo it in order to save costs. He had to do it this way on Atari Age. That's what he was saying. And in general, it seems to have the same content, much of the same content that was in the original encyclopedia, except of course in Volume 1 you're missing everything after Communist Mutants from Space. The original book went all the way to Double Dragon, so you had a little bit more value for the same amount of money. But you can purchase these books on his website, all in the ebook format for $9.99. And anyway, it should make a great collection of books. You know, all the original Atari books. The other thing I wanted to mention, on his YouTube channel, Derek Slaton, he has these really wonderful reviews of the games that he started on the channel, making reviews just to back up the book, and they're really well done and to the point and just beautifully produced. So I highly recommend you check out his YouTube channel, which I'll provide the link at the bottom of this video. All right, thanks for watching.